It's no longer news that tension between the U.S. and China are at an all-time high, particularly over the issue of Taiwan. President Xi Jinping has ordered his military to be ready to invade Taiwan by 2027, a move that could trigger a full-scale war with the U.S. The island has been a point of contention since the end of China's Civil War nearly 80 years ago, and successive U.S. presidents, including Biden, have pledged to defend Taiwan against an unprovoked invasion. The situation raises a critical question. If war were to break out between these superpowers in the next few years, who would win? Both nations have been investing heavily in their military capabilities, but they differ significantly in structure, experience, and technology. To understand who might have the upper hand, we need to look closely at various aspects of their armed forces. On paper, China's army seems formidable. The People's Liberation Army ground force has about 1 million active duty soldiers, dwarfing the U.S. Army's 480,000. However, numbers don't tell the whole story. Of those 480,000 U.S. soldiers, about 150,000 are combat troops in one of the 31 Brigade Combat Teams, BCTs. These BCTs are the Army's lifeblood. Each is a self-contained unit with its own infantry, armor, fire support, and logistics. This makes them incredibly versatile and capable of fighting independently in any scenario. China's army, while larger, lacks this flexibility. They've adopted the U.S. brigade model but haven't mastered it. More critically, China's logistics are a mess. As late as the early 2000s, they used an outdated system from the Korean War era, units drawing supplies from stationary depots. If a unit advanced or was attacked, it often ran out of supplies. Even after reforms in 2016, it's unclear how China plans to resupply troops in a fast-moving conflict. In terms of equipment, the U.S. also has an edge. America has about 1,000 more tanks than China. The U.S. M1 Abrams, introduced in the 1980s, has been consistently upgraded. It's proven to be the most successful post-World War II tank in both survival and rates. China's primary tank, the Type 96, is newer but inferior. It's 30 tons lighter with less armor and a weaker engine. In tank warfare, power-to-weight ratio is key. It determines speed and maneuverability. Most Abrams have a ratio of 27. Far surpassing the Type 96. China's best tank, the Type 99, is better but rare. Only about 600 are in service. Artillery is another U.S. strength. While China has twice as many rocket, tube, and self-propelled artillery pieces, U.S. systems are newer and better. Much of China's arsenal consists of old Soviet-grad rocket clones. In contrast, the U.S. fields advanced systems like HIMARS, which has devastated Russian forces in Ukraine. These American systems are more accurate and have a proven 300-mile range, far exceeding China's capabilities. Like its army, at first glance, China's Navy looks overwhelming. With about 742 ships, it's the world's largest, more than double the U.S. Navy's 296 vessels. Most of China's ships are small patrol craft or outdated vessels. Their significant ships include 2 aircraft carriers, with 1 more coming, 26 destroyers, 36 frigates, and 74 submarines. The U.S., despite owning fewer ships, has 11 aircraft carriers, 70 destroyers, 20 cruisers, and 69 submarines. China has made impressive naval strides in 20 years, transitioning from a green water navy to a blue water one. But ship for ship, they still lag behind. Take destroyers, the backbone of both navies. China's modern Luoyang and Rinhai classes have comparable missiles and sensors to U.S. ships. However, they're more specialized. Our U.S. Arleigh Burke-class destroyer is a multi-mission marvel. It handles air defense, surface warfare, anti-submarine tasks, electronic warfare, and more. It can launch aircraft, has advanced sonar, and carries twice as many missiles as China's best ships. In submarines, the gap is even wider. The U.S. has state-of-the-art nuclear subs like the Virginia-class and the super-secret Seawolf-class. Some Ohio-class subs can fire over 100 Tomahawk cruise missiles while remaining undetected. China's best, the Type 93, is only as quiet as America's oldest Los Angeles-class, and all newer U.S. subs are quieter. Aircraft carriers show the starkest difference. China has 2 in service, with a 3rd coming. But they're half as powerful as a U.S. carrier and used outdated steam power, limiting speed and endurance. All 11 U.S. carriers are nuclear powered. More importantly, the U.S. has been operating carriers since before World War II. This generational experience in flight operations is something China won't match for decades, if ever. In the sky, as on land and sea, the U.S. holds a clear advantage over China. Combining the Air Force, Navy, and Marine Corps aviation arms, the U.S. has about 2,800 fighter and multi-role aircraft, roughly 600 more than China. America's top fighter is the F-22 Raptor, while China's best is the J-11, a copy of Russia's Su-27 flanker. They're similar in range, speed, and ceiling. But the F-22 is a 5th-generation fighter with superior maneuverability, avionics, weapons, sensors, and stealth. In a dogfight, the F-22 would likely win every time. China's only claim to a 5th-gen fighter is the J-20, another Russian copy. Though advanced by Chinese standards, its roughly 150 units are vastly outnumbered by America's nearly 500 F-35s and 186 F-22s. The helicopter gap is even larger. China has just 1,355 helicopters, less than a third of the U.S. fleet. In attack helicopters, it's no contest. The U.S. has almost 800 deadly Apache gunships, nearly double China's 400 Z9 and Z10 Apache knockoffs, which lack the original capabilities. Naval aviation is another U.S. stronghold. Beyond carriers, the U.S. dominates in specialized aircraft. For hunting submarines, the U.S. has 30 P-8 Poseidons, while China has just 15 Y-8s. For airborne early warnings, which is critical for air battles, America has 42 E-2 Hawkeyes and 68 E-3 AWACS. China has only 8 converted Y-8s. Most crucially, China lacks any aircraft equivalent to E-8 18G Growler, America's electronic warfare plane that suppresses enemy air defenses. The U.S. also has 3 unique aviation edges. First, aerial refueling. With nearly 150 tankers, U.S. planes can fly farther and loiter longer than any others. China is still testing this capability. Second, tilt rotor technology. The MV-22 Osprey combines helicopter and fixed-wing abilities, reaching areas others can't. Third, vertical takeoff jets like the Harrier and F-35B allow fighter support from smaller ships without needing a full carrier. Of all the branches we've discussed, this is the only area where China has a distinct advantage over the U.S. Over the past 2 decades, China has invested heavily in ballistic missile technology, particularly in developing conventional weapons to keep the U.S. as far away from the first island chain as possible. China's rocket forces are truly impressive. They field several thousand ballistic missiles of 9 different types, with ranges reaching out to 4,000 kilometers. This arsenal is designed to create a virtual wall of missiles that can defeat U.S. ships and aircraft long before they get in range to hit China or protect Taiwan. It's a strategic response to China's limitations. Unable to match U.S. air and naval power directly, they built a formidable deterrent. The U.S., while not matching China's missile quantity, has developed quality offensive missiles and a robust defense network. America's primary offensive missile is the Tomahawk, with a 2,400-kilometer range and advanced guidance like terrain contour matching. It's America's go-to for reaching out and touching adversaries. The U.S. is also close to deploying the Naval Strike Missile, a modern replacement for the aging Harpoon. But where the U.S. really shines is in missile defense. The Navy's Aegis system employs a variety of sensors and vertical launch systems that can shoot down ballistic missiles almost anywhere in the world. The Army's Patriot missiles provide excellent point defense, proven in the Middle East and Ukraine. For higher threats, there's the Terminal High Altitude Area Defense System. Even the U.S. West Coast is protected by ground-based interceptors. So while China can launch more missiles, the U.S. has the tools to shoot many of them down. This domain is China's strongest suit, creating a serious challenge for U.S. forces trying to operate near its shores, but it's not an insurmountable one given America's defensive capabilities. China has built a military optimized for regional conflicts and deterring U.S. intervention near its coasts, but the U.S. military is designed for global power projection, with superior quality, experience, and sustainability across all domains. In a full-scale war, especially one that expands beyond the Taiwan Strait, these factors would likely tilt the balance decisively in America's favor. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and turn on the notification bell for more amazing videos. See you on the next one.